I'm fine.
All right, so we're just back to, we're gonna do an increase in the travel allowance, I think is what we were talking
Yeah.
about.
I think that's justified.
So, but for right now, I'm gonna leave it out until we feel good of where we want the salary to be.
Great, yeah.
Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, right here, I'm gonna put
Hang on a second, Charlie.
yes, sir.
So right now, on the survey you've done, we're in line or above pay,
Yes, sir. If you look at it all in, yes, sir.
okay? And then are we above pay on the base?
No, sir. If we just look at the pay, again,
That's why I wanted to look at the base, because I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of variables with this, with the travel allowance.
How far off are we on the base?
well, you just look at the base, you're 14 low. Again, but that base is including, some of the counties do report a travel allowance, so it is in the base for them, right? So let's just take Henderson County. They're at 88, 89 for base, and then they're drawing up 5,200. So that TAC average is taking in that travel allowance, but you know, again, the big things that are pulling that thing down because of what we're doing, has been across the board on everyone. It's Van Zandt County pulls it down significantly. And then the two counties that seem to be more in line with where our budgets and our people are the Henderson and Hood. So that's why I keep focusing back on Henderson and Hood.
So you're saying we're 14 below in base, but we're higher in travel.
Yeah, I mean, again, remember this 88, the average I'm comparing it to, sorry, it's over here, this TAC average that you have on your front of you, that is including travel allowance for like one of those counties.
Yeah, it's skewing it because of that.
Right, but if I just go focus on the two counties that and still ignore Henderson's $5,200 in travel allowance, their base again is 88 or 89. Hood's county base is 91 and change. So Hood does not get a travel allowance, and they do not get a car.
And our base is 94.7.
Well, your base is 70. Well, it was 68, and with a 7% increase or $5,000 increase that you suggested, it's 92.9. Is what again, he just threw a $5,000 number in here.
Yeah.
Which, if I include your cell phone, which I reduced to the 1020, your now projected base is 73 or 74, which is still substantially less than
Still 14.
substantially less than Hood and Henderson.
The reason I put, I said this yesterday, but the reason I put $10,000 in it wasn't so much for myself, but it's, if we could do that for us, we could do the same for our employees and keep them. To
So
make them happy.
I just pulled up precinct 2's. So he did $10,000 across the board. So he's getting his base up to 78 plus the
1020.
I'm kind of trying to do this on the fly here, but yeah, so he'd get up to about 79 on base prior to travel allowance. Again, if I do the math there, it's obviously about 10 grand less than the TAC average. So that including travel allowance.
But our travel allowance is higher than the two counties we're looking at, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Well, one county doesn't have it in there, period. So I don't know what Hood County does, how they do it. They may have it, Commissioner, but they didn't report it. Similar to, if you look at whoever sent our numbers in, I don't know how they pull it, but if you just look at our numbers, there's your base, but nobody put a travel allowance. So Hood may get a travel allowance. I don't know.
Do y'all know a commissioner in Hood County?
Another judge.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, and I can try to pull. Can you, Nat, can you or Brad, can you just pull up their budget and see if Hood County has a travel allowance in one of the precinct road and bridges, please? So we can, I mean, we can dive into that again, because the math isn't math.
I mean, yeah, I think it would be instructive just, you
Yeah.
know, for justification. I
Yeah,
mean, we're asking everyone to justify, so.
They're pulling it up right now. So obviously if Hood County has any type of travel allowance, that number goes even substantially more up.
I just want to be armed, so when they come at us.
It's,
Yeah.
gotta ask of ourselves the same as we're asking for everybody else. So, it's the, you know,
Exactly.
Any other thoughts on? I mean, I know Eddie explained why he did the 10 grand across his. Obviously, we're not talking about the salary positions yet, but we gotta do that today.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see it right here, right? I mean, you can do reverse order in essence, start with you guys and go back down the other way. But it starts at the top with you and then it obviously flows similar with the sheriff's office. He's taking care of his people, but then he's also got to be taken care of because you can't have a foreman making, in essence, if precinct 2 gave a $10,000 raise and y'all stayed flat, you'd almost have a foreman making what the commissioner makes on salary alone, which can't happen. Right?
which is
So-
I think what Commissioner Perry was kind
But
of
he's not
indicating.
getting the travel allowance.
right. No, I'm just saying on base. I'm just talking about base.
You call it pay separation? Corporals, sergeants, captains.
So I don't know that the rest of the, Commissioner Brewer or Commissioner Moore, if you have thoughts on yourself and or I can pull up y'all's budgets and or your people. But we can, I guess, have those conversations. This is Commissioner Moore's budget. He used just a 5% increase.
I just went across the board 5%.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was,
And then Commissioner Brewer.
what do you call it? It was just,
I just looked at it across the board.
He did a 4% increase for him and a 5% increase across the board for his people.
Like I say, if we can do more for our people, I'm all for it.
We didn't do any kind of salary survey though at all on employees. really.
I did the survey training, I just compared Medina County.
Yeah.
And we were, it was at 10,000, kind of brought it back to close to.
Y'all find anything or not?
That's what I'm looking for.
Kim was calling too.
Is there? This is Hood's County budget. This is road and bridge, road operator.
I don't see travel
Does
in the road operations.
It seems, I would find it hard to believe that.
I mean, they have an equipment operator budget Um, I just don't know how many people that would be.
I know Ellis County has like 32 per precinct, plus a road engineer.
Their constables within travel allowance.
Constables? I don't remember if Hood provided, I think Hood provided a vehicle.
Yeah, I don't see that they show now.
Yeah, if I can remember right, they provide a vehicle. This is precinct 4, I think, yeah. This is the, hourly rate. We just kind of want to keep that in mind. I'm always kind of big on observing not only the total comp. but what the
Yeah, I think
hourly
that's
rate is.
informative.
Especially for labor workers, I would think it's valuable to see because that's how people steal you away. At the end of the day, I hate to say it, but we will lose a guy over $1 an hour or more.
That he has to drive 30 miles to.
Yeah, I mean, when it's you, that dollar
Right, I
matters.
mean,
Take that back as a commissioner report, education and travel expense. $2,000.
Has to go back to the school.
yeah, but I mean, for me, this is important for our labor workers because they can get. And again, this is I don't think they get, nobody gets paid overtime, right? So
Not that I know of.
this is straight pay time. This is what they're gonna get. They get comp time, but in essence, it's still straight pay time. So a
Well, it's
5%
time and a half. If they work an hour, they get an hour.
okay, on comp time.
On comp
They
time.
don't get actually paid that. Yes, sir. Okay. But if I go over to precinct 2, had the largest increase in, Commissioner Perry did a $10 or $10,000 raise, just to show you what the hourly rate is for workers there. Just so we're comparing apples to apples. And trying to be in a certain position where we want our foremen, our mechanics to be in a respectable deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, I think we pay our foremans around $30, 31 an hour. They're running a crew for digging trenches, putting in holes, putting concrete up, stuff like that. So it's up to you guys. Obviously, it's kind of wherever you want it to be, just comparison, but this seems to be for them. I don't mean to jump off of us, but how do we want to think about us, you guys? How do you want to think about y'all's salary and then trade that down obviously to your teams? Thoughts?
My biggest fear is if we go to that average, or even, let's say, over the average, that percentage is gonna be a whole lot higher than we've done for any other office holder.
Right. I think there's to maybe contradict that or bring an argument against that. I don't mean to be combative, but
Yeah.
if I look at the treasury or the district clerk or in essence, the JPs, you know, they're not, maybe the JPs are out, but most of the people in this building that we use the average as a standard benchmark, they don't travel. Like they're not in the precincts. So again, taking that was their salary plus their cell phone allowance allowed them to be towards the TAC average. The travel allowance that you guys get skews this number. And I don't think if anybody were sitting in these chairs trying to argue against you, you can't show them the mileage it takes for you to drive down into each of your deal. That would be my contradictory argument. But for folks in this building, when we went to that average, we did people that are butts in seats in this building
Yeah,
based on the TAC
I am.
average. So
I'm good with that.
I
Can I use that when they come at me?
yeah, I mean, it's up to you guys. But I'm just trying to.
Yeah,
I bought that new car a month and a half ago, and it's got 6,200 miles on it. So I mean, it goes, but
yeah.
you know, travel allowance, I'm not concerned with. Right now I'm getting 41 miles a gallon, so that's convenient.
Well, y'all can share a
We
fee
got
out
the
with
best
the
phone, best
JPs.
car.
Everybody needs to be like Eddie Perry.
Well, I mean,
How do you think it'll pay you?
that probably will beg the question for this coming fiscal year and discussing, you know, just like with everybody, you know, county vehicles and what makes sense in that regard. You know, that's the next step. You know, I don't know where we're gonna go with that, but we need to look at it. And
Yes, sir.
it's not to pick on any one group or not.
If we got, I mean,
Obviously, I'm low, and obviously, Eddie Perry may be, and I'm not trying to be critical, a little high. We hit something. Middle of the road there, I'm good with it.
just we're talking about for the base, right?
Right.
So Eddie's right now at 70, let's just call it 78. We use round numbers. And you guys are at 70.5. So this is Commissioner Perry. So right now his salary is 89% or 11% below the average. So with, again, ignoring agnostic to vehicle allowance.
Yeah.
And Commissioner, you're at 19% below the average.
Kim didn't get anybody to answer. She's looking up the budget now.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, we try to, it's kind of tough to see, but sometimes they can hide numbers in the budget. But if we, like you said, split the baby and did half balance. So if we did a 78, almost $79,000, you'd be at 10% below the average. That's half of, yeah, that's half of what you were below the average, Commissioner Blue. Oh, Eddie was only at 6, so that's not right. So maybe 75 for you guys. So your all-in comp before the travel allowance would be 76. And then if we did the travel allowance in your total comp, you get 103. But if you just took that in comparison,
What would that percentage be below?
well, you'd be over. You'd be 17% over.
Okay.
Again, that
But on the base salary, we would still be.
you'd still be under, yeah,
Okay.
you'd still be under.
I mean, I don't know how, I can't make a decision until we know about whether Hood County gets a vehicle allowance or not. Because, I mean, I feel like the same way that I did yesterday. Whatever the TAC average is, no more than 1% above that TAC average. And if we're already over that TAC average, then nothing. If we're significantly over that, but I don't know how we can do it until we know if Wood County gets a vehicle allowance or not. Because that changes things.
Because the TAC average could be skewed because of that. Yeah. I understand.
And I'm not saying that just about us either. In my opinion, it should apply to the JPs too.
I kept it just so I can put a column of just keeping it flat, as Commissioner Grant said. That would also be the travel allowance. Put that down. Maybe at 94. Well, I mean, I would think, I guess we determined that there's definitely going to be a $2,000. Well, yep, 96. So it'd be
Remember what I said yesterday about the average? Half of them making less than this.
9% over
Right.
the TAC average. That would be keeping salaries flat for you guys. But again, I go back to the part of when you get into your you get into your crews, from a base salary, they're going to be making pretty close to what you're making on base. But choice decision.
If we had elected years ago to give ourselves raises where they were planning to go, we would probably would be that far off now.
Yeah, we shouldn't have done that, but we did.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I don't know what years those were and what years you didn't take them. So I can model that out, but I don't know. Going another year without a raise, if we're truly saying that the travel allowance increase, the $2,000 is getting eaten up in fuel, it's really not an extra pay for you guys because it's getting absorbed with, if you drive a diesel, it gets absorbed at $5.30 a gallon or $5.15 a gallon. It's, if you drive a mini coupe like Commissioner Perry, then or hybrid or electric vehicle,
Compensatory.
and Flintstones. But, I understand what you're saying, Commissioner Perry. Or Commissioner Grant, but I do worry about no increase.
Yeah.
With this idea of investment in people, or with this idea of Judge Carden saying competent people wanting to run for these positions. I mean, if all of a sudden
Nobody competent would run for this position.
Well, I just also say if we move to vehicles, county vehicles, something to that nature, you're going to have to adjust your salary up to get back up to that number.
Yeah, if we move to the
Eventually.
county vehicle.
Because, again, what the trading, what we're trading on now is Hood makes 92. This was again last year's salary before any increases this year. They make 92 with nothing there. So,
But we've got Henderson at 89 and we do have a travel allowance there at 5,200. So then the question becomes, are we accurate on the travel allowance? I mean, are they traveling not as much as y'all are? you know.
I mean, I don't think their counties are represented to be that bigger than ours.
I can tell you that I've never met a county that even had close to the amount of miles that we have. Not even close. Most of them, any one of us have more roads than they have in their whole county.
Yeah.
There's no argument there. You can look that up.
I believe you.
So I can safely say,
Okay.
yeah, we probably travel more roads than any other county in the state of Texas.
In Henderson County, their precinct barns.
I'm not,
So we have the justification for the travel allowance there.
I'm not
as far as
saying
that-
that justifies it. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
we have
that's
more-
what we're working towards though.
Can I put in 2 cents?
Absolutely.
I've sit here and I don't want y'all to hate me. I don't, but I do believe I exude common sense and I speak from the taxpayer. This is taxpayer.
Sure.
matter. Is it would appear to me in looking at that and listening to that, at the bottom line, it doesn't matter if it's a salary and travel allowance attached, it's a bottom line number. It would appear to me that the easier and simpler thing to do for you guys would be to follow the model that you've already put in place, adjust your salary and lower your travel allowance. And just hear me when I say that.
Yeah,
If you adjust your salary and lower your travel allowance, it's more digestible for the others that get a travel allowance, not to see that big number. And number two is it makes it easier to adjust your employee salary because your base is somewhere. And then number three, I got a question. When you get to a travel allowance of $27,000, why are you driving your vehicle? Why are you not in a vehicle that belongs to the county? A lease vehicle or you can buy that brand new Z71 4-wheel drive pickup over there, costs $54,000. 2 years it's paid for. And you get gas from wherever you get gas. So you have a budget for fuel, like you already got a budget for fuel. I'm not trying to be a horse's tail, but what it does, if you're going to
Our
travel,
fuel's not included in that fuel budget.
I understand, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying for the future, if you opt into a county-owned vehicle,
Mhm.
you don't have to pay insurance. You don't have to put fuel in it out of your pocket. You drive that son of a gun.
and then it's less of a question of
Yeah,
adjusting
I'm
the
saying when
salary.
that travel allowance gets so
Right.
high, and I'm not saying it's not justified, don't get me wrong. Then you start to question, well, why don't we own the vehicle? Why don't we drive
Right.
the county's vehicle? Because for 27,000,
We could
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But I'm not trying to say I'm saying move
Reallocate.
that up
Reallocate.
to salaries,
Change the
some of
ratio.
that to get more to what's in line with everybody else, that average you talk about. And it changes the number of the travel allowance. And so, man, you're plenty justified then to say you move, just for example, I don't know what that number is, but say you move it 10,000 up to salary, the average salary or your base salary. You took 10,000 off travel allowance. Now that's digestible.
Yeah.
Because you don't just, you may not be able to buy a pickup and drive it for 15,000. But when you're getting up to 26, that's a different thing. And then again, I say it allows you to adjust your employee salary more, or it's just, if that's the basis of kind of what you've done throughout. That's just my perspective.
And something else.
Kim says that so far she's found where their commissioner's court gets $8,000 a year for education and travel. And then $1,500 a year. I don't know, so their budget says $8,000 a year for education and travel for commissioner's court, and $1,500 per year for education and travel for road operations. So they get $9,500 that she's found so far.
Good.
And let me say this, I was not to take it over, but let me say this as well. If you adjust it in the salary and next year you choose to opt to a
Well,
county-owned
you
vehicle,
might be right.
your salary is still where it's supposed to be.
exactly. I
And
think
if-
that's a great
That's
point.
what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And it
Nobody
brings
can fight
that
yourself.
travel allowance with the other, I mean, I'm restating everything you just said. Great points.
I mean, look, I just.
And I'm sorry for giving you business.
I did a quick Google, so take it for Google's AI on this. County roads maintained in Hood County, 468 miles, Henderson, 840, Navarro 933. That's, again, Google, their totals, miles for the county. This is also including state highways, city controls. But I don't think that's us because we don't control those roads, but yeah, Navarro County, Hood is half of what Navarro County is, if we're going to use that as a comparison. Going back to their deal, like what I'm talking about, getting closer to their straight salary and being in a position to say that, I think is important. And saying, okay, well, there should be some travel allowance there associated because we're twice as big as them.
And yeah, I think in the ratio in line, it is in line with what we're trying to do with this budget session.
And going back to what the sheriff was talking about, I know we can't do it now, but if we bought all that pickup and we drove it 2 years, it could be the foreman's pickup. We wouldn't have these 1997 pickups with haywire holding together.
So there's another vote for getting county vehicles, or a program in place.
That's what happens, not to say we do everything right, but what happens over there is if I take a vehicle and 3 years later, I take it out of service, it rotates to CID. And then it lives its life and then away it goes.
Maximize the value.
It goes to Golden Bridge like that Tahoe and that old green pickup.
Absolutely.
Great.
I think we gotta be a whole lot smarter with
Yeah.
that and how we use county vehicles instead of just going and selling for $8,000.
Yeah.
When there's still life
And
in
then
it.
more especially if you were to entertain a lease program where
Mhm.
that lease turns over every 2 years, you can stay in new vehicles. Even if you didn't want to put the pass it down method, you're staying in a maintenance-free vehicle that you're putting X number of miles on in a year. That's just me.
I don't know if we want to, bumping to the lunch hour. I don't know if we want to try to do some research and come back and handle this at 1:30. And make the decision. We just got to get something done right now. We can't be distracted because we've got to get these letters to Kim. Kim's got to get them to the elected officials. And then the other one that I think we need to deal with today, well, we got to get through the salaries. We have to get through them today.
Right.
But the other one is informing the county treasurer. She's the only newly elected official y'all have not talked to face to face
You're right.
since this. We brought everybody else in here.
Yeah.
We are thinking of not allowing her extra position, but we did give her a raise. So that would be something that I think would be proper just to.
No, you're right.
That in here. do
That's
that.
an oversight. Thank you.
But I can do some more research. I can reallocate this up and come up with some kind of bringing the salary up and readjusting the travel in line with some of the other folks that we have.
Mhm.
But so y'all's call.
I'm open to working through it right now, or whatever you gentlemen want to do. If you want to take a break.
Whatever y'all want to do, I'm good with whichever.
And I said my stance yesterday, no more than 1% above the TAC average.
So right now you'd be stay flat. You would in essence stay flat, or you would give yourself a pay cut.
Well, if we find out that, which I don't know without knowing,
Okay, well, so basically that's a vote for getting the data right. Having the right data in front of us.
I just don't want to do, I mean, if I'm going to hold everybody that I've had
Mhm.
come in here under that standard, then I got to hold myself to it as well.
I agree with you. I'm with you. I just, again, the counter is that you guys are driving more. So the county.
Well, I didn't say
ca-
anything about adjusting the travel allowance.
Okay, well, I mean, that's the big deal here is that right now, even if I were to tell you, okay, well, we're going to give you a $10,000 raise, right? And so if I give you a $10,000 raise, you're at 76,000 with the phone. Well, you're still, you're 14% below the TAC average, ignoring your travel allowance. So right there, you're still below the average, but you've got a $27,000 travel allowance. You know, it's a yin and a yang, I guess, of trying to get to what you're saying. I just look at base salary, your base salary, you're below the 1%.
Well, what I'm saying, not that I have a say, is whatever it takes to get to average salary, take it away from travel allowance. Because it's still the bottom line, and it makes travel allowance look more digestible. And then in the future, if you decide to opt to another program and drive a county-owned vehicle, your base salary is still going to be in line with what other counties.
So if I did 87,000 here, okay. But I gotta do what you just said, Sheriff, I'm sorry. If I did 87, so that's 12 grand. So if I did 87 there, and I did this, I did this minus 12 grand. It'd be at
In that travel allowance, that's everybody in the precinct, right?
excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not just that 25,
Yes.
25, 2 is a travel allowance for everybody that works in that precinct.
Yes.
So you're not getting all of that.
No.
He's only getting 18.
No.
Okay.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're good.
I didn't
No,
know.
we don't get that.
Oh, so that makes these
All the
numbers.
employees get,
Our,
I'm sorry, Commissioner, I didn't know. I mean, those are the departments, the JPs coming here, obviously, they're only getting the travel.
That's
allowance,
correct.
not
Well, then
the-
that's a big
So,
difference.
Yeah,
thank you,
that's a-
Jack.
that's a
So
that's what I'm saying.
Because I
18.
think our.
That's all I'm saying. If you go to
Personal travel.
27,000.
No.
Our personal
No,
travel
I
is
wish.
14.
Okay, okay, wow,
That's different.
yeah. Well,
Communication is key. That
I
makes
mean-
it different.
wow.
that's why we get that travel allowance. 'cause
I'm the worst math student in here. but I'm
Okay,
just
so
telling you,
right now, Commissioner, if I did a whatever, I don't know, I'll go to 72,000. I did 72,000, which represents a increase over last year from your base salary of $4 grand. Or
what I'm saying is leave our travel allowance where it is right now.
right, 18.
And then if we're below
You're
the
3%.
TAC average, then no more than 1% above that.
I'm just trying to do the math real quickly. So if I bumped you guys to a $72,000 salary, brought your cell phone allowance down to what's in line with everybody else, kept your travel allowance flat, that would be you'd make 90,000, 91,000, some change. That would be 3% over the TAC average, which is in line with what we did with the people. The JPs are 3%,
I understand.
Mike's 3%. So
So the JP's 3% or 5%?
3. I don't think we did anybody 5.
You had one at 1%, one at 5%, and one to the average of 3% for everybody. Yesterday.
So last year you would have made 87,567. This year you'd be making 91. So it'd be a little less than a $4,000 raise. If we just did what we said, put you guys there, reduce your cell phone, kept your travel allowance flat, and be 3% above the TAC average. That would represent a 6% base increase. I think some of y'all put 5. Commissioner Terry put 10,000, but that's a 6% there. Obviously, you're coming down on your cell
I
phone,
understand.
so you're.
And don't just go by what I'm
No,
saying.
I'm not going by, I'm just,
If they,
I'm
if
putting
they,
it down.
if
I'm
they
putting-
feel like that we need to move the travel allowance up to the paid and make some adjustments there, that's fine.
but at least I'm putting the math here so we can decide, right?
For the final number, and they can.
You asked to be 3%, what would do for the others? This is 3% above the TAC average, which you've done for the JPs. You've done that for the county treasurer, county clerk, I can't remember, for Mike. You're in line, and nobody can say you got more than, I think The outlier here is obviously Judge Carrion, but there's a case of what's happened to change there. It's a substantial change in
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
So he's the, I think we can all sit there and justify that, but this is this is a data point that shows you this is in line with everybody else.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I didn't understand that travel allowance thing, but.
I apologize.
Yeah, that
I was
clarifies.
like, man,
I thought we
don't make
went
that
to
much money.
$1,200.
I didn't know I made that much
I
money.
didn't know. He's got 15,
Yeah, 18.
no, 1,500 a month.
Oh, okay.
I thought we had 1,200 a month.
Travel allowance.
Is that what it
All this
was?
time, I thought it was 1,200 a month.
15.
No, just for
15.
these guys. What do these guys get paid in travel allowance a year?
18.
Okay, somebody thinks one thing.
Okay, I didn't know.
And then
Yeah.
it's,
That was just my thought.
Then we-
900.
I never see my check anyway. I don't.
$900 a year for their guys,
For the ones that get it, not every guy.
for the ones that get it.
Yeah, not all of our guys get it.
That's right.
Right.
Wait a minute. Yeah, they do too. Cause remember we couldn't do a raise, so we did a travel allowance.
Yeah, we give them like $100 a month
Something like
in
that.
case they got called out during someone.
Yeah.
I think we gave them $100 a month.
Similar incentives to the sheriff's office.
Here's another deal that Kim sent. She said it looks like they get 3,500 for precinct for education and total travel, $2,000 for commissioner's court, and $1,500 for road and bridge. I don't know if any of that gets the commissioner, the 2,000 for commissioner's court. I don't know if that gets divided between the whole court or not. So a minimum of around $7,000.
So that will be added to their 91,000.
I don't mean to interrupt. I just.
No, so they're making 91 that way, so 98 all in. Or your guys are sitting right now all in. Right now, they'd be making 98 all in. You guys will be making 90.
Is it Hood County would be at 98?
Yeah, and then right now I can look at Henderson County based on what they made last year, based on the information presented. 89 plus 52 is 90, 94.2, 94.2. So you'd be below Henderson.
Below. I'm still good with that at 3%. I don't think we need to go up any more than that at all. This is defensible.
We good on that final number there then?
I'm still good at 1% for everybody. Above the tax rate.
And we're not, do you want to redo the ratio on the travel allowance, or are we good there at the 18 essentially?
Well, where we at on the base salary?
Up 17.
So that would be $5,000. I'm thinking about for our guys.
That's what I think about.
Right now, we're using a 6% raise for you guys on your base.
And also on that, if we decide to do a uniform deal on that paper on the cell phone stuff, some of our guys get a cell phone allowance, but it ain't, it's like 600 or something. So don't forget that when we start talking about it.
Yeah.
Not now, but when we
Sure.
start talking about it.
Where, but it's in here? Well, maybe you guys are already getting 1,020. You say it's 600, and that makes that math work.
Yeah, that makes that work.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
our,
Is the
I now
self,
have it here in front of me, but our guys get, our foreman,
It's 600. Well,
Yeah.
makes sense. So you're at. if
so
you're at
really that
600,
should be,
that's what it is. That needs to be
2040.
this- That's where that extra 600 is from. It's from our foreman's, which is only half.
Yeah, so in essence, you're getting six, if we kept the travel allowance same, the cell phone allowance same, because that's what y'all are getting. Then overall, it's a 6% raise on the base, you're 3% over the TAC average, which has been synonymous for most of the positions that we've talked about. County treasurer, county clerk's a little bit different because if not, then she wouldn't. I mean, you could go back and adjust that if you'd like, but then district clerk is at the county average, county treasurer's above at 3%. The JPs are all at 3%. Constables are at the average. Deputy constables not worried about. So between at the average and 3%. So Jason wants one. I can show you the one if you want to do the one.
Kind of like a gone. That's what, when the Indian shoots him, he says, don't hurt my mule. Don't hurt me. They kill him, but he says, don't hurt my mule. My guys, I'm trying to look after my guys.
right,
Cause you can't fix no roads if you run anybody off.
right.
Well, when I'm saying this 1% above tax average, I'm talking about elected officials. I'm not talking about employees.
So I just wanna make sure my guys,
We don't have TAC average for employees.
I know.
We're gonna have to obviously venture down that road of forest and not. So if I just did the 1%, your base would go up to 70, a little over 70,000. Your total comp would be 89.3, which last year was 87. That's representing 1%. Which in essence, Commissioner, we haven't done anybody at 1%. We've done people at 3%. We've done
I
people
know.
at average. Just so the rest of you is. I think the 3% people that I know the 3% people that we've had discussions with, we've seen, come in here with significant increases. I think we justified it with Mike's pay. The district clerk is asking for an additional staff. So we did not give him the 3%. He's at the average because he's asking for an additional staff. I'm just throwing out outliers in this situation. The constables, the big reason why we didn't put them 3% above is because it's skewed because of Hood County performing law enforcement stuff. So that outlier pushes them up. We think if we took them out, they'd probably be above 3% or be at 2%. So. But it seems to be justifications for the ones that we kept at 3% and the ones that we kept flat. And it seemed to be those that are at flat are happy with the at flat. Surprisingly, I got an email from Bobby Rachel yesterday, which I was surprised I wasn't getting yelled at, saying how much appreciative that he was for that session yesterday. So I almost passed out. I got that. So I think he's happy. I mean, they seem to be comfortable and understand why they're not at the 3%.
I wouldn't ring that bell.
I heard it. Oh, thoughts? Fears, anxieties?
Y'all let me know, commissioners. I mean, where do y'all want to be at? I think you can justify the 3% based on the amount of miles you're covering, whether that's allocated to travel or base. You know, the difference between 3% and 1% is $1,700
Which is what you're asking for an additional in the mile. I mean, what you're asking for additional.
in the travel.
Yes, sir.
I've heard from all of the judicial folks about how much more work there is
Mhm.
because we have more people in the system, the clerks are overworked, all that. It's the same with us. 3 years ago, I wasn't dealing with the dang solar farm or the windmill where a guy died Tuesday.
And
You know,
data
you heard
centers
the
are-
data centers coming
And you're
in.
blading your roads
Well-
once every 6 weeks, and now you blade them every week.
Yeah.
Well, and
well,
the
you got
cross
some
we
of those things
carry,
out there.
we carry the cross. And I knew that coming into it.
Yeah.
I fully accepted it. But everything is our faults.
And here's the thing, the money, and I'm not trying to sound noble when I say this. I was retired when I took this job. I've got income from other sources. I didn't take this job for the money. And so, you know, whatever we do, I'm good with. But for the position and for all of the reasons that we said, I think that 3% needs to be there. You know, I'm good with that. If we're not doing we're not doing any justice to the position. I
For
guess.
not
is the
taking
way I
raises
wanna
in
say
the
it.
past, for
For
not,
the future, yeah.
for not taking raises in the past and for not doing, I mean,
Yeah,
I agree, sir.
we've talked about in the past, that was a mistake.
And I think y'all done a great job of improving community outreach. I know Commissioner Grant's
Oh, yes,
having a lot of
yes.
meetings and I'm sure y'all are too. And that, you know, it's important that you get additional value. And I think that's more value to, you're going out into the community and getting opinions, not just asking people.
Yeah.
Right.
And y'all
The city
know,
council meetings, all that.
I go to all of them that I can.
y'all know, Jason, I appreciate you. I appreciate your position. You're keeping us on track with that. With that 1%, but I gotta say 3%, I'm good with it.
Well,
17.
the best thing about being on this commissioner's court, with all of us that are here now and all of us that have been here in the past, I've never one time seen the argument step foot out of this office.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Not
it
once.
does not. need
When we came out, even if we just had a heated debate, we'd all go eat lunch and it was fine.
Yes, sir.
And that makes it easier. That makes it easy to express yourself and tell your opinion when you know it's not gonna be held against you.
They're not all this smooth.
It might be held against you by the audience.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay.
So you're good with 3%?
I'm good.
I'm taking care of my guys.
Okay, well, that's what we gotta do this afternoon. So
All right.
go get some lunch and be back at 1:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take a break till 1:30.
Whatever.
Sorry, Sandy, do we need to do a motion for that?